In past videos, I've mentioned a couple of times some friends of ours who also have a 2021 Leopard 45. And after seeing some of the videos and, seeing our boat in person, one of those owners, Herbert, has decided that he wants to come on and have a chat. So Exie is the name of their boat, and she's just come back from being out in Var and the Croatian islands, and I'm going to pop over and have a chat and get Herbert's opinion on what he thinks of the boat, what he's seen of our boat, and a few other things. So we're over here on Liga, and there's Exie. I'll never get this video done.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Was that a year no? That was almost a year no.
That was a big mistake, I think.
Alright. So I figured the easiest thing to do is probably just start off by saying, just a quick bit about who you actually are.
Really? What do you have?
Hello, my name is
you do that.
Yes, I'll do that.
Okay.
Alright, so I am sitting here with Herbert, who is a friend of ours. So he is the founder and CEO of a multinational company. He's got a background in electrical engineering and business, and he also happens to own a 2021 Leopard 45 as well. So thank you for talking to me and
You're welcome.
giving your opinion.
Hello, Telicia.
Hello. Hello, Herbert. So, why don't we just start with, when was your boat handed over, and how long have you spent doing warranty, especially on the hard stand, since that happened?
I think we took the boat over 2021 September, and we took it from what is South France? What is that? San Rafael to over here to Monfalcone, Italy. We were on the hard stand for 7-8 months. And when we pulled the boat out, we found some issues on the keel, and then we basically went through the boat. We got the mast off because all the suspensions, you say, were really rusty. So they finally agreed to the exchange, and well, when we got the mast down, or we put more cables in the conduit, you say, yeah, and when we start doing that, all the conduit fell down. And I think it happened the same on your mast, what I saw. This was pretty bad. So we had to do the whole conduit of the mast. So this is 20 meters of conduit in the mast itself. But the problem is you don't get material, you don't get the spare parts. And there was no help from Leopard on this side. Spa couldn't deliver anything, they didn't know. So we finally took everything out and heat treated the conduit so it has a better grab on the rail. And then we put Sikaflex on the front and in the end. But it's bad made, and normally they should replace that.
No, but instead you've been stuck dealing with it
yourself. But the problem is, all the warranty stuff from Leopard it takes so long to get handled. It takes so long to get a decision. I mean, here in Europe, you have 3 months of good season where you can go out and sail and do this stuff. But sometimes it takes 3 months to get a decision. So you basically waste the whole season with just waiting on the hard stand. So that's for me a no-go. So that's why I said I fix it by myself.
Yeah, which is not exactly a position you would have expected yourself to be in after investing in one of these.
Well, I think nobody around the world would accept that if they buy a car or a truck, nobody would fix things by themselves, I guess. But what should you do if you don't get any help?
Yeah. I think we've said it before, and I know Tynan said it. You can't sit around waiting forever for them to do something. You've got to live your life, and unfortunately that means that both of us have had to spend our own money and our own time fixing problems that were nothing to do with us.
Yeah, I mean the guy in Europe told us we can charge him all the hours we spent. I'm not sure if this works out or not. So far we didn't receive any money for that.
And then how do you even decide what your hourly rate is going to be?
Well, I think we charge 45 euro an hour. it's pretty cheap.
I was about to say that's very cheap for you.
We took the average shipyard hourly rate. That's what we took, which was €45 an hour.
Yeah. Obviously, when yourself and Sherry decided to go ahead and buy a Leopard, you would have had an idea of what your experience was going to be like. Has what you've actually experienced differentiated from that?
Well, we looked at some Leopards already before that, so I took the panels off from a charter company and looked through the whole boat, and then I saw, okay, I rather get it without any options. And they told me a few times that's the emptiest boat they ever sold. Well, that's fine, but I want to do things by myself, that's one thing. And I also saw that a lot of options they installed you get issues with, because the installation is not done properly, or you know what, you have air conditioning units installed. And so I tried to, because out on the sea, you know, you have to help yourself.
Yeah.
And so basically what we did is we put everything apart and installed all these options. And when we did that, we found a lot of other issues, like small electrical issues we fixed on the go. I can't send them a quote for fixing a cable because they always want to have a quote before they compensate it. So I just fix it. And then on the hard stand, we realized that we always had water in the bilge. This was weird, you know. You're on a hard stand and you shouldn't have water in the bilge if you're not in the water. So it was very hard rain, and then we found out that on all the how do you call this on the side?
Stanchions.
The stanchions. Okay. The stanchions were leaking, and also the plate on the side. I don't know the English word for it.
Chain plate.
The chain plate. So water was coming in. So we figured that there was nearly no Sikaflex around anything.
On your deck fittings?
Yes.
We had a significant amount of leaking deck fittings, and most kind of had to fix, because as you say, when you're on the ocean no one can help you, and we were finding them, or the boys were finding them as they were crossing the Atlantic, and we've got more salt water coming in other than what was coming in through the windows. So you only recently started watching our YouTube, because YouTube and social media is just not your thing.
Exactly, I don't like it.
You don't like it,
No.
but
I like to watch, but I'm not using this at all.
no. So from what you did see, you watched our mast videos. What was your take on it? Because we've obviously got a lot of opinions from different people.
Well, I saw your mast video. That didn't bother me so much. But when I saw the mast actually down there, and I looked at the mast, this bothered me. This was really terrible to see, because it was the same than what our mast was, but yours is way worse than ours. So normally you have holes everywhere in the mast. We don't have that. I mean, we had holes in the conduit itself, so with rivets.
Yep. Okay. So you have those two.
Yes, we had that too. So I looked at the cables. The cables were fine. But you shouldn't do that.
No.
And so, but when I saw that this was really bad. I mean, this was bad to be there and having the mast down for, I think, 2 months you had, or 3 months maybe, and nobody came around to fix that.
No. No. So and that's just, again, you've had something similar with not necessarily the mast, but with submitting issues and not getting responses or answers in a timely manner.
Well, you know, I had no options. I didn't install a radar and nothing, so maybe I had luck that there was no holes in the mast because of no options installed.
Yeah, maybe. Although they were from the stairs, and I don't think they're optional. So, just in general, what are your thoughts on the workmanship and the value for money of the Leopard?
Well, I have to say, I like the boat.
Yeah.
I like how it is laid out.
We do too. We
And
like the design.
I look at lagoons and all this. It's not. It's a nice boat, but it's not my style. I like the front cockpit. I like the rear cockpit here. I like the lounge up there. It's a really cool boat. It's just they need to get somebody on the quality control to check what they are doing, because the structure and everything of the boat is really good. I like it, but how they're doing things sometimes is not you should do it. But you know, you can. I mean, we produce products in-house too, and you can sometimes have a bad product. Something happened, but then you need the after-sales service needs to handle that as soon as possible, and not letting you sit for a $800,000, $900,000 boat and letting you sit here without any support. And this is pretty shitty, I have to say.
Yeah, I think we'd agree with that. And we do. We love the design of the boat as well. It's just the quality control and the quality of some of the workmanship on the boat is just disgusting.
I mean, the other thing I decided for Leopard was because you have access to everything very, very easily. Good luck. I mean, and that was one thing. I mean, I looked on a lagoon, and for me that was not really an option because it's too fixed. You don't have access to everything you want. And if you look at the structure, how they built the boat, this is pretty good. I mean, I have to say, I like it. But anyway, as again, it's not just the boat, it's also the after-sales service needs to be handled, and that is what I've seen so far, not the best.
Yeah, so that leads me probably into my last question, which is, so as you said, you've successfully built your own business, you produce things in-house. What are your thoughts on the warranty process and the way it's handled, and with both Leopard and Robertson and Kane being involved in the way that they are?
Well, you are more involved than what we are. I mean, we just send everything to a guy in Europe who is handling everything in South Africa, which delays sometimes things because they're on holidays or they're on sick leave or whatever. I think that the whole process is taking too long. I mean, I understand. I mean, sometimes it's an expensive repair and you need a quote for. But everything which is below a certain amount, you can handle on your discretion. You know, if you send pictures in and everything, then they should see, okay, well, this is really the case. But the whole process takes way, way too long. And I'm not sure how other boat builders doing that, like lagoons or whatever. But I've seen this as a kind of disadvantage to have a South African boat and not a European boat.
How long is it taking you guys, roughly?
I'm not sure. I think the only thing we agreed on was the cleaning process, because we took the boat over full of rust and not clean. And you know, normally you was looking forward to get a boat like that, and then you see, okay, it already looks like 2 years old or something. And then we agreed they will do the cleaning in Italy then, which was fine for me because, you know, I didn't have to clean it then. So I saw this advantage. But anything else is still open, it's still not decided. It's not decided. We're going back and forward with invoices and things, but everything else is not decided. They didn't tick it off.
Staunchins is now 90 days since it was sent in, that they're waiting for an answer from Robertson and Kane. It's 90 days now.
Yeah.
And that's what I mean. I mean, 90 days to get a decision is
it's ridiculous.
It's just not okay. It's just because, you know, as I said, 3-month season. You have maybe June, July, August, September here in Europe to have a nice season. 3 months, your season is over. So forget it. Okay, we start maybe in winter. You don't want to sail in winter in Europe?
No. That's right, you missed last year's season, didn't you?
Yes. Well, the boat came in late.
2 months late.
2 months late, yes.
You're a bit more flexible than we are in that you're based out of one area and you have your winter and you're able to plan your work around that.
I mean, it makes a big difference. I mean, I mean, you don't have a base. When you have a base, it's easier because I can delay things for 3-4 months, and then get it handled there and have 6 months to handle it.
Were there any major things? Because you were saying you took the boat over with basically no options. Were there any like large issues that you had that were warranty?
The chain plate was the biggest one because the standing rigging on the starboard side was held on with 4 bolts because it was nearly 2 centimeters. They hadn't installed it correctly, so the chain plate didn't fit to the
Maybe
hull.
Sherry can supply her with a picture.
But that was the biggest thing because that's so dangerous that the entire weight of the mast on that side was just 4 bolts. And the only reason we found it is when we discovered all of the stanchions were leaking, we took the panel off and saw daylight and water running down where the chain plate is. Then they took the protective cover off. And
So the chain plate was actually just holding on the top and on the bottom. And in between there was nothing.
it was like it was air.
I don't think we've checked ours yet.
So, and this
You
is
have to take the side panel off,
You
and
have
then
to
you will
take the
see.
side.
But that's pretty bad.
That
That shouldn't happen.
And it's one of those things that you'd never expect it to happen. You'd never expect to find it, so you wouldn't necessarily go looking for it. It's just that your
You would
stanchions were
never
leaking.
Yeah, but
take
it's
that
that's so
protective plate
obvious. But they haven't paid it so far.
No, they're still arguing about whether or not it was necessary to remove it, to fix it. They had to cut away, I think, in the end, part of the deck because the deck mould hadn't actually been installed properly, so it hung over, so there was no way for the chain plate to fit. But the shipyard had to call in structural engineers and everyone to consult with how to fix it because that's all your weight is right there. Yeah, it's a bit.
Just a little.
I mean, just that, like if that snaps and pulls out the side of the boat, you have some problems.
I feel like with some of the things that happen on these boats, you raise them because, yeah, they're warranty, but it's also like a safety concern for certain systems. And I feel like sometimes you raise it as a safety concern and certain people will brush it aside and say that it's not a big deal, it's not that unsafe. Like someone telling us that having windows with water leaking through them doesn't make your boat unsafe.
It's not about the safety, it's about you buy a product which should be okay. And the leaking window is not okay.
No.
If it is a safety thing or not, I don't care. I buy something which should, I mean, you don't buy a car with leaking windows.
No.
You wouldn't accept that. If you have a house with a leaking window, you wouldn't accept that. And on a boat which is in the water, sometimes, then you shouldn't have leaking windows. I mean, if it is safe or not, I don't care. This is not a product which is okay.
No.
So that's it.
No, and you are now facing potentially having to replace windows, aren't you?
I'm not sure. We saw.
We've
I'm
got
not
some
sure. So far.
separation, we don't know yet.
You need to investigate further.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, we have some...
But your Cape Town videos are spectacular. I was rewatching those of your leaking windows in Cape Town. They're better than ours.
Yeah, because that was both sides,
Yes.
wasn't it?
Like a water feature.
The water
Both
feature.
rear.
Both
and
rear.
windows.
Yeah. This. I mean. You know, as I said, when you produce a product and when you make a product, things can happen. No question asked. It's a technical product. It's a complicated product with different materials. Everything can happen. But then you need to get your service going to fix it as soon as possible. A leaking window is not something you should have 50,000 letters and emails. It has to be fixed. That's it. Leaking window, here's a picture, and okay, we fix it. I don't know why it's always a big discussion. If it is safe or not safe, I don't care. This shouldn't be like new. I mean, this is a product which has warranty, and they need to fix it if it doesn't work.
Yep. Is there anything else you wanted to...
No, that's it.
That's it?